talk really quickly about life, because this will be about Trump and Zelensky and Ukraine and Russia, but I want to talk to you really quickly about life. You see, it's important to always remember what I'm about to say, no matter what your emotions tell you at the time. Family, friends, co-workers, employers, employees, anybody you have any kind of a relationship with, it is perfectly okay to have disagreements with them. Argue with them, maybe even yell at each other. Have a knockdown, drag out. It's perfectly okay, as long as you do it privately. Privately. There's a wonderful, wonderful line from the HBO series John Adams that's so true. Benjamin Franklin sitting down with John Adams, who had just insulted a bunch of these politician types publicly in front of everybody. And Benjamin Franklin says, "Why'd you insult them publicly?" And John Adams says, "I should have done it privately." And Benjamin Franklin says back to him, "Yes, perfectly acceptable to insult a man privately. He might even thank you for it. But you insult a man publicly, he tends to remember it." Keep your fights in life with people you know off of social media, off of TikTok. Don't record them. They're not for public consumption. And if you want exhibit A of how badly that can go, let's look at the Russia-Ukrainian negotiations. Right now, Trump is doing as he promised he would during the election. He's trying to bring about an end to that horrible butchery over there. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of lives lost, just awful. A 3-year disastrous affair. Trump, to do this, to mediate this whole affair, he's got to bring Russia to the table. He's got to bring Ukraine to the table. What do you accept? What will you accept? It's a negotiation. You get it. I get it. This is how most wars end. Zelensky, I don't know, I guess maybe believed his own press or something like that, started to badmouth Trump, not on the phone. We're not talking about he's on the phone with Trump in the Oval Office. "Trump, you moron, you don't..." No, not by text message. "Trump, what are you, an idiot?" He starts running to the television set to talk about all the things Trump doesn't understand. And Trump has responded, well, exactly like people respond when you insult them publicly.
Think of it, a modestly successful comedian. President Zelensky talked the United States of America into spending $350 billion to go into a war that basically couldn't be won. He refuses to have elections, is low in the real Ukrainian polls. I mean, how can you be high with every city is being demolished? A dictator without elections. Zelensky better move fast or he's not going to have a country left. And Zelensky probably maybe he wants to keep the gravy train going. I don't know what's the problem, but he hasn't been able. He's very upset that he wasn't invited. He could have come if he wanted to, but that he wasn't invited to Saudi Arabia. But he's been working for 3 years. There's never been even meetings or phone calls to stop this war. It's a horrible thing.
Did you ever hear Donald Trump speak that way about Zelensky leading up to the election? No, you didn't. Did you hear him speak that way about Zelensky immediately after the election? No, you didn't. And so now, remember, Zelensky's entire country is on the line here. What the future of Ukraine looks like will in large part be determined by the negotiations that are happening right now. And right now, Zelensky is wrong-footing the entire country of Ukraine. Why? Because he couldn't control this. He couldn't shut his freaking mouth and keep insults private. Private. How deep is the rift now? Remember, he needs us. Zelensky has no leverage, none, zero. Russia has taken and they are holding the territory they want, and Ukraine cannot get them out. They've tried, they cannot get them out. How bad is it now? Marco Rubio feels completely comfortable saying this. Our Secretary of State saying this publicly.
I think President Trump is very upset at President Zelensky, and in some cases, and rightfully so. I was personally very upset because we had a conversation with President Zelensky, the Vice President and I, the three of us, and we discussed this issue about the mineral rights. And he said, sure, we want to do this deal. It makes all the sense in the world. The only thing is I need to run it through my legislative process. They have to approve it. I read 2 days later that Zelensky's out there saying, I rejected the deal. I told him, no way, that we're not doing that. Well, that's not what happened in that meeting. So you start to get upset by somebody. We're trying to help these guys. There should be some level of gratitude here about this. And when you don't see it and you see him out there accusing the president of living in a world of disinformation, that's very counterproductive. And I don't need to explain to you or anybody else, President Trump's not the kind of person that's going to sit there and take that. He's very transparent. He's going to tell you exactly how he feels. And he sent a message that he's not going to get gamed here.
You hear it? You hear the animosity now? At a time where he needs us the most, he has already completely alienated us. Donald Trump, Rubio, the whole gang of diplomats, he's completely wrong-footed himself. And this is not about Zelensky or Ukraine or Russia. This is a lesson for all of us, myself included. Keep your disagreements private. I know it feels so good to blast your wife on Facebook. Oh my gosh, she screwed up dinner. I know it's fun. I know it's great. Don't do it. All right? All right. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.